Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're welcoming back Bernie and Brendan from Dead Alive Games. This publisher has been prolific in the industry with Omicron Protocol, Lunar Rush, and Cyber Pet Quest. Their newest title, Kittens in Space, is currently on Kickstarter. Gentlemen, welcome to the binge. How you doing?
Awesome.
Yep.
Just thumbs up for an audio podcast. Let's get those thumbs up.
We're doing great.
That's how good we're doing.
Exactly. It's all
I'll be
thumbs.
nodding for all yes/no questions.
So we were just saying before we went on air, this is actually your third time back on the podcast, and it's such a pleasure to have you guys back. You've jumped in. We had another episode we had to push out because someone's got LASIK eye surgery. And man, when I saw Kittens in Space, I said, these are the guys that got to fill this space. We got to get yet another cat game on this podcast. You're saying, I think, is there like 3 different cat games on Kickstarter right now?
Yep. There were 4 before. One ended early.
I think that you can never have too many cat games, I don't think, ever, right? Like there's got to be one on Kickstarter at any given time where life is just not complete.
Absolutely.
We've pretty much been told by people who back, like, literally, oh, if I see a cat game, I must back it.
Oh, absolutely. I backed up a cat game last week. Yeah, absolutely. I love cats. Yeah, I've got, I think, like 6 or 7 on my shelf. Yeah, I absolutely love the cat games. For those who don't know Dead Alive Games and didn't check out the past episode from like 8 months ago, can you give us just a quick overview of your company, kind of who you guys are, where you're from, and so forth?
Yeah, we're Dead Alive Games. Bernie and Brendan, we started about 8 years ago now with Omicron Protocol. And since then, this is our 5th or sixth title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we've done sci-fi, we've done cute games, we've done adventure games. So we kind of are pretty prolific and also diverse in the genres that we work in. Also, it goes from super casual, like Kittens in Space, probably our casualest and smallest game yet, to a miniatures board game, which is Omicron Protocol, like a lot bigger set rule book, setup, and everything.
How have you found like managing that? Because I know like myself, when I switched between like Seas of Venus universe over to something like Geckos, like it's a shift, right? Like even in the mindset and how you approach it, the complexity, just kind of the size of those campaigns and how you're going to manage them. How have you guys found it, and kind of how do you kind of segment the different kind of approaches you take in this category?
I would say we kind of base what we're going to do on, well, several factors. Lately, there are tariffs involved, which has changed directions for some of our plans for the summer. So we were going to mix in a bigger game, or bigger product that we don't have bandwidth or money for, basically. You know what I mean? It's hoping that it settles down into something kind of manageable. So unfortunately, that's one turn that we had to take. But in general, I would say that over the last couple of years, we've allowed our bandwidth and what's going on in our personal lives to sort of dictate the projects that we're taking on. And so we have, obviously we're overlapping projects because we're putting a lot of stuff out this year, and we just wrapped up. We did 2 campaigns last year, so we're ramping up, but due to time constraints and stuff like that, we're focusing more on the publishing side these days, but looking forward to developing and designing more complex stuff as time allows.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, like this is like your part-time job, right? Like you guys have daytime jobs in addition to, and again, just a reminder of what you guys do.
I teach software development in sort of a boot camp environment. So,
and I'm a technical product program manager at a private tech company.
Now it's interesting when you talk about the tariffs. I mean, it's, from my perspective, the larger game is, the concern is still in flux, right? Like we still don't kind of know exactly where we're going to land on the tariffs. It makes it very challenging because obviously we don't want to, impact our backers, right? If possible, but when there's a larger game, you have no choice, right? Like you can't, I mean, if the tariff levels are at where they are right now, I mean, that's a big chunk to eat. So I think we're seeing this in the industry where there's a number of us saying, ooh, I was going to do this, but I think I'm just going to kind of switch the order a bit here until we kind of see how things settle out here. And allow you to weather the storm, quite frankly, a little bit better, right?
Yeah, the problem is like, I mean, percent might be the same, but the bigger the game, the bigger the cash outlay.
Yeah.
And I think people, I guess, people not in the industry don't think about that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, instead of like a $1 game, if it's $10 game, now I have to put like 10 times more money, especially at 145%
Yeah.
out there. And if it's a $1 game, it's like, okay, I could eat that. So there's a huge difference, and I think that we're seeing a lot of big games kind of get delayed or like wait and see. Because the other thing I think people don't understand is it's a 5, 6 month uh, ahead time just to even once you have all the files ready, by the time it gets to the store or when it lands and you have to pay that tariff, it's like 5 months in advance.
Yeah.
So you can't predict it, and if it happens while you're like all the stuff is in the sea, then you are really screwed when it gets in port.
And that's what happened this past spring, right? There was a number of people that had already shipped their games, and then
Absolutely, yeah.
the tariffs came in, and
Oh.
surprised at the port, right, and just trying to figure it out. I had a colleague here in Canada who he's like, at the end of the day, just give me the number. I'll manage around it. The fact that it's changing is what's
Yeah.
causing the chaos.
Oh, that's horrible.
Right?
Yeah, it's really stressful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Like I
and
find,
it makes mistakes costly. So yeah, if you do get caught just at the wrong moment, it's really horrible and expensive, So yeah, it's tough.
yeah, and I was thinking too, because I just shipped on our last campaign we had we did like a bundle deal where you'd still get the first game that we had made last year. We had inventory left over. We would ship that now, and then the rest will ship when it's ready next year. And I was going through the math, saying, okay, it's a big game, right? And okay, now I got to ship. I have X number of people in the States that want this game. Normally, I would send twice that amount in just so I have the stock local, right, in case there's any issues and so forth. But you're going through doing the math, saying, whoa, if I ship twice the amount in, I'm paying the tariff on stuff that's going to sit there in inventory.
Yeah.
Right. So you start going through the math, saying, ooh, maybe I don't do that. Maybe I only ship an extra 5% just to cover off damages and so forth, and kind of hopefully wait.
Yep.
And if things kind of simmer down, then I'll ship the rest then maybe later on in the year and avoid that tariff. But you're right. The larger the game, the larger that adds up. So much so that you're seeing a lot of the I know Kickstarter, Backer Kit, Hive, a lot of these different pledge manager companies are now actually building into their pledge manager a tariff where you can actually put in the tariff amount and it'll automatically charge the backer, right? So I think there's some education that's going to come into play here where I hate to say they've been spoiled, but I think the Americans up until now haven't really had to pay much, right? Where in other countries, you got your VAT taxes where you're paying 20% of MSRP going into the country and things like this, where they're used to paying these kind of high levels. It's a bit of a sticker shock, I think, for the States, but I think things will balance out and, things will usually bounce back. They always do. And certainly Kickstarter is not slowing down. I've seen a lot of smaller campaigns, back to your point, but still we're seeing a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are joining us from Gen Con. You got there today, so you're there a day early. Any plans for when you're at Gen Con? Are you guys exhibiting? Are you just walking the show, or what are you doing?
We're exhibiting. This is our 4th year exhibiting now. Yeah, 4th year. And yeah, we're really excited because, I mean, I guess it's sort of the silver lining to the whole tariff thing.
Yeah.
A lot of bigger publishers and companies pulled out of Gen Con. So we were originally denied a upgrade. Everyone tries to upgrade from their 10x10 booth because it's so crowded. And we got denied originally. And then I think when a lot of people dropped out, we were like first on the list based on priority points or something like that. And we got asked if we wanted to upgrade, and we immediately took it. So this will be our first time since our the debut year to have a 20x10 again. So
Oh, wow.
looking forward to the extra space.
And it always sells out too, Gen Con, right? So
Oh yeah.
People can't get in.
yeah, so maybe this is the year to get in if somebody wants to get in, right?
A lot of people who got in, or had bigger booths because they did it during that the year after COVID, when a lot of people still didn't go back.
Yeah.
And they said it was so easy to get in and get a 20x10 booth. and you get grandfathered. And once you have a booth, they never like, what's it called, downgrade you.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people got in then. So I guess we're kind of getting in on this little tariff lull.
Now, my understanding is though is that if you give up a like, so if you say you're on the list and you're exhibiting, if you skip a year, you're back off the list, right? Like
Yep.
you know,
Here's another funny story. One year we were there, and then we just looked across. There was a 20 by 10 booth that just had really old books, like RPG books and magazines. And you had this one old lady who literally read a book the entire 4 days. She just sat in the back and didn't even look up. People would go in. If they picked out a book to buy it, she'll stand up and take your money. But she did not try to sell it. There was nothing in there, like it's half full. And we're just going, how? And then someone told us, oh yeah, like they probably didn't have new product or anything, and they didn't want to lose the space.
so just hold bare minimum, just hold the
Bare
slot.
minimum, just hold it.
Camping out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And they're paying for it. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
high price to pay to reserve your spot for next year or whatever. But
Yeah. And then do you go through a lot of inventory do you find at Gen Con? Like is it like kind of like one of your bigger events of the year or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's the biggest, I would
Best,
say.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now have you guys done Essen as well or?
Yeah, I've done Essen the last 2 years. Essen's another really good one. I would say it's probably yeah, it's our second best, probably up there with PAX.
Yeah.
And that's considering none of our games are in languages, yeah, other than English. So it's only in English.
Mhm.
So we're selling to a lot of people who would have bought it if they had German or French version. So even with that, it still sells quite well. So yeah, I think we're at Essen again this year, granted selling through one of our partners we found through being at Essen every year.
So is it like a localization thing you're doing or you literally just sell your inventory there
We're just
in
selling
English?
our English inventory there, and it's mainly focused on the Dutch and German.
Do you do like a digital like translation at all or?
Once in a while, people have come forward. We've done like trade deals, so we have, our Omicron protocols in Spanish, for instance,
Yeah.
because somebody really and Chinese, yeah. So some people really like it, and they'll just do like a volunteers or like, hey, can I have a all in, everything, and I'll do this for you guys, or
Mhm.
or something along those lines. But we haven't yet done an official sort of translation of any of our games, though we look forward to that day. So,
Is there play so that first the Omicron I would say Omicron, I apologize. It's my Canadian accent, but Omicron protocol is there plans to kind of continue on with that or is that now kind of the OG now you're moving on with other properties or is there plans to keep that coming into the forefront?
there is, we've got other things to do first,
Yeah.
but we, yeah, we relish the day that we can get back and work on that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we already have the next two teams designed out.
Yeah.
It's just miniatures. Everything about that game is expensive, right?
Yeah.
Including shipping it because it's a heavy, big box game. It's a game that costs a lot, so the tariffs will kill us. So all of the reasons, it pretty much is we focus on the small games until the time is right.
Mhm.
Wow. It's one of those things, right? Like I think back to like my first game I put on Kickstarter and I still have plans to do another version of it, right? But it keeps getting bumped.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because I'm just not ready for it yet or if just the next shiny object just keeps popping up, right? And you're just like, oh, I could work on that, but there's this new thing that's really cool that's really got my interest, so I'm gonna kind of focus there for now. Is it a bit of that for you guys as well, or is it truly just like tariff cost miniatures and things like this?
Yeah, it's a bit of both for sure. Yeah. I mean, we have and just gaining experience. So
Yeah.
we learned a lot from that game, but a lot of those lessons hurt a little bit. So we're it's good for us to be doing some of these smaller projects and
Yeah.
learn, and like seeing the full life cycle of several projects is helping us. And then, so I guess we're building our skills to go back because it is an ambitious project. It was an insane project to do for our first game.
Yeah.
So kind of just building up those skills to really make it sing when we get back to it.
Usually
Plus,
people do the reverse, right? They start off
Yeah,
small.
exactly.
That's what I did. I worked my way up to the big game, right? And then it's like still a lot of learning. And afterwards it's like, wow, that was really painful. I learned a lot. Very painful.
yeah. We told everyone to do a card game first, and the card game is our sixth game.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've worked fully backwards into
Now, are you guys going to be actually demoing Kitten in Space at Gen Con? And do you have like
we have prototypes.
just prototypes? Okay,
yeah. I had to drive back to work on Saturday before coming here to Gen Con because I left it at work. I was showing people on a game night. And I was like, this is the only prototype I have, and we told everyone we're demoing it at the booth. So
So you literally have one prototype for the show? Wow.
I'm guarding it with my life.
I guess so. The good thing is though, mid-campaign, like people can sign up right there on the spot, right? Which I know is we did that at Essen on Cities of Venus. We were mid-campaign.
Nice.
And just the pledges that came in from that show, people are able to play it, and then you got a QR code they can scan and right to the page there.
Yep.
For Kittens of Space, so let's talk about where did this idea come? Like, obviously, everyone loves cats. I'm sure. Let's just start there. But the whole idea behind this game, like, where did the ideation of this game come from?
So this is a game designed by Jeff and Riley Wallace, a father-daughter team. It was at PAX 2024, so just 7 months ago. Came to pitch the game, and it was a pancake stacking game. And I just thought it was like really fun. It reminded me of Uno. It's like a better Uno, as one of our content creators said. And I was like, this is pretty cool. So we're like, we played it with a few people and decided to sign them. But then we're just going, okay, the pancake stuff is really cute, but how can we like really make this mass market? And of course, our friend Tate Wu, who makes Cat Sudoku and a lot of cat games and cat pins, we've been learning from him of cat foo. And we just decided to make it a cat game. And the whole like Kittens in Space part came from kind of back to your question about Omicron Protocol. We are still working in that world, even though it might not seem like it. Everything, all of our games is in what we call the Luniverse, which is the universe that the Omicron Protocol and Lunar Rush is in.
All right.
So a lot of the Kittens in Space thing calls back to Cyber Pet Quest, Lunar Skyline, even Omicron Protocol, if you know where to look. So we're like, it has to be on the moon. It has to be something with space. What can we call it? And then one day we're just like, what is the most ridiculous thing? Well, they're kittens. They're kittens in space. So, the designers, they were very excited for the reskin because Riley loves cats and the art is super cute. So like, I think it just worked out really well.
How did you approach that conversation with them? So for other people out there who may be looking at publishing someone's game that they haven't created themselves, you know, these sometimes can be sensitive conversations, right? So how do you guys go about approaching that? I'm just showing on screen, by the way, while we're chatting here.
So there are two things, which is one, you kind of have to, without saying anything heartbreaking, you just want to say, hey, are you open to this idea of changing the theme? So you kind of have to go with that. But then I think we didn't really broach the subject again until we were laughing about the idea of like the skinny little cat adoption agency on the moon, and it's like light gravity. So we're just seeing the cats like, oh, they stack because the gravity's low, and so we're just cracking ourselves up. And then we're like, okay, I think this is ready to like talk about, so once you're kind of in love with it, it's and laughing, it's easier to sell.
Had you already signed them at that point? Like, were they already signed? Then you came back and said, yes, hey, we want to do this as Kittens of Space, or did you have the conversation before you signed?
We had the conversation about, are you open to like, we're gonna, basically we make final decisions. That's the contract, right? We decide, but we really want you involved in that decision. So that's kind of, we would never do something that they're like, oh my God, no, that's horrible. We want them on board. It is there, so.
And these days, I mean, just even from this experience, we learned to just broach the subject a lot earlier,
Mhm.
even before we sign.
Yeah.
We're like, this might turn into a puppy game. So are you okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is something I struggled with early when I started getting to considering signing other people's games, right? Because and that's natural evolution for most publishers. Is they usually start off as, not always, but most of them start off with their own games, and then they get to a point where they're like, okay, I've got a machine I've kind of built up here. The longest period of time in that whole development cycle is the actual making the game itself, right? So then the natural evolution is say, okay, I'm going to start signing other people's. And there's tons of them out there who have no interest in doing other thing than just all they want to do is just design games.
Yeah.
Take pitches and take them to the next level. But I put a lot of thought behind that up front, saying, I don't want there to ever be an uncomfortable conversation.
Mhm.
And that can happen. And I've had a few so far in our limited run as Tin Robot Games where they caught me out, where I had a conversation that caught me off guard, and I was like, ooh. And it's always good to reflect on those and say, okay, how can I approach that differently next time so I can avoid that? And from my end is, before anything gets inked, it's like, love your game, absolutely love your game. For it to work within our portfolio, this is kind of what I'm thinking. It might even, as you're saying, it might even change.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm thinking. Are you cool with that? If you're not, that's fine.
Yeah.
But for me to take it, we want to do this. And if you can work with that, then this is going to be really awesome working together. If it's not, I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader. I can even put you in contact with other people that might be more aligned with the theme that you're kind of stuck with,
100%.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that at a time, there's a bit of a risk, right? Because some people can get married to their ideas, right? Like, maybe these guys grew up father daughter playing, making pancakes together in their kitchen, right? Since they're kids, and like, so they've always envisioned a pancake game, and you guys come along and say, it's great, but I want to turn into cats. Like, what the hell?
Breaking my heart. Yeah.
Where's my pancakes?
It's the reason we got into publishing, because Omicron Protocol, we had such a unique viewpoint.
Yeah.
We knew that if we sign, the publisher kind of has the right to kind of change it. So we're like, no, it's going to be exactly how we want it.
Yeah, we never even considered it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up having a company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's there's never a good time to have the uncomfortable conversation, but it's always best to have it right at the beginning.
Sooner is better.
As soon as you can, because then that's out of the way, and then you can get on with having fun, right? Mm-hmm. And having the conversation later on, kind of mid-development, really, really sucks, especially if it's if you're not aligned, right?
Well, there were times where we had to do that to ourselves. I mean, speaking of Omicron Protocol, there were difficult conversations and cuts that we had to make that were really, really awful.
Yeah,
because it's like we had this vision, and this is what this is why we're doing this, and now it's not.
Our publisher mind pretty much told our designer mind, no.
So it's like, it's not working, man. It's not, people are not responding well to that, or like as a product, it's not going to work. It's too expensive or cumbersome or whatever.
Yeah.
And making those cuts to your own baby is
it's tough, but good for you guys to be open to that, right? Because some people are just saying, well, no, this is my vision. That's it, right? And at the end of the day, we're here to sell games. And have people play them, right? And so you gotta listen. You have your vision, but there's got to be the input you take as well, right? And especially if you hear it from the same message coming from multiple locations, there's usually a nugget of truth there that you got to kind of investigate and pay attention to.
Something you got to do. Whether it's the idea you've heard or it's something else, but there's something to address for sure.
I feel like we have a good culture between the two of us now. If there's any time one of us either feels weird about some idea or have been hearing something a lot or observing something a lot, we'll bring it up. It's never a pleasant conversation.
Yeah.
But we just get through it. We talk through it, and usually a really good change comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good mark of a great partnership as well, right? That you have that shorthand where you can say, look, we can have these kind of conversations without taking it personally. We're talking about my brother and I are like that, right? We'll have sometimes very different perspectives on how to approach something, but we both listen to the other and then kind of go away and think about it. And then, usually there's just some kind of mesh between the two that kind of rises to the top that ends up being, quite good. Right. And then you adopt that.
It's also good because when one of us doesn't have the energy to it's like the other one won't let it go. Like, so
Yeah.
we're
It's
not
like,
always both up for it, but it can't be dropped,
this is a hill I'm gonna die on.
the two of us, we always have to hold each other kind of accountable, even, yeah. So it does help. I mean, I don't know that this would ever work. If it were just me, it definitely
Oh,
there
God.
wouldn't be anything
Yeah.
here. We wouldn't be talking. So
So you're talking about, so it's a shedding game is I guess the category we call this one. So can you give us kind of an overview how to play this game and use as descriptive language as possible? I know there's this kind of mechanism you have where adopt versus rescue, and I think that's kind of a clever hook that you guys have that's kind of added in here. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, I think so. It's a card shedding game like Uno. So your goal is to get rid of your hand as quickly as possible. First person who does that wins. You play multiple rounds. Whoever wins a certain amount of points wins the game. Ultimately, there are four stacks. So think four Uno stacks with numbers 0 through 9. And every time it's your turn, how it works is there's that we call them a rescue card because one side is adopt and one side is say rescue. So one side will add more kittens to the adoption center. So that's rescuing from the outside. And then once one reduces them because you're adopting them out.
Mm,
That just means on one side of the card, all the stacks have to be played numbers that are higher than the existing one, and the other side lower.
mm,
So every time you play, you get to move that card that tells you which side is higher and lower to one of the stacks you played on. So for the next person, it will always shift. And then there's certain icons in the game about 1/4 of the time, it will actually rotate. So now what was high is now low.
mm.
So it is a kind of a chaotic card shedding game, but compared to Uno, it actually has quite a bit of strategy because you have to think about, okay, which stack should I play on? If I play on that stack, I have to move this card. If I move this card, that gives that person options to these three numbers. So if you're very keen on like kind of remembering what people have played before and what numbers have come out, you actually can have a strategy through it. But it is still quite a casual game. It's probably our most casual game.
And then I definitely want to call it the art. Who's your artist on this one again? This Kwai style cats you have is just awesome. I love it.
yeah, it's Zachary Leo. He's excellent. Yeah,
Also part-time artist.
yeah,
He has a
yeah,
day job too.
yeah. Yeah.
And then when I was going through the pledge levels, as I'm showing here too, there's like enamel pins, so people can kind of like pimp out their pledge, right? With I think I saw some stickers. There's sleeves. You got branded sleeves and things like that.
Meeples.
Yeah.
So definitely need to call out our super summer intern, Sally Nagel.
Yeah.
She was like, you're stacking cats in the game. Like you should have meeples. I was like, that it's a card game. Why would you have meeples? That's she's like, so you could stack them on the side for fun. And we're like, oh, we'll think about it. And then I started seeing like other cat stacking games. I was like, okay, we need meeples.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I have you here on screen with the little space helmets on.
Yeah.
So it's like a
And
little mini game off to the side then.
yeah, if like a reverse Jenga, if you could like stack the cats.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and another funny thing with Matthew's cat versus cucumbers, he also had meeples, and I was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
how did this happen?"
He put like a cat tree, I think, in his, right?
It was so cute. I saw that. I was like, "Oh no, we also have meeples."
Yeah.
They should have an area at Gen Con with just cat games. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Have a cat aisle. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
I'm surprised they don't have it.
They
have
should. That would probably work to everyone's advantage just based on the amount of
Mhm.
cat lovers that would go through there, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
get publishers to pay for a little table next to the cat area.
A little cat tree beside your booth. Now you and you guys are both. I think I have in the thumbnail. Each of you are with a cat as well. So you each have your own cats, do you, or did you borrow a cat for those pictures?
I've got a cat. Yeah.
I volunteer at the SPCA shelter, so
Oh, nice! Wow.
He's touched the lives of many cats.
So then after this game, what's next for you guys? Can you talk about it? Like what the next kind of title is you're working on? Are you going to be talking about it at Gen Con at all? Or is it going to be coming after Gen Con? Or kind of what's the next steps for you guys?
Yeah, you're definitely getting the first scoop since I think a lot of the media people at Gen Con will ask. Lunar Rush expansion, Lunar Rush innovation. So the one we held off due to tariffs.
Yeah.
We will actually have the prototype there to show people.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, a lot of the content creators are actually using the prototype to generate. Like we're getting ready. It's just so that whenever it's ready, we can launch, we'll launch it. Then I think for new games, Tate Wu, we published Cat Rescue with him. That was our previous Kickstarter, but he has a new game called No Puppies. It's a bluffing game, party bluffing game that's about puppies doing bad things, and you're just no puppy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I think a couple that Brendan's developing.
We've got the designer of Lunar Rush, we signed a solo game with him that we've been working on sort of slow and steady. So that one's really exciting. It's going to fit in our Luniverse. I don't want to say too much more about it, but it should be a really cool kind of solo game that adapts to your skill level a little bit. So you can try different configurations and play through it a few times.
Semi-legacy.
Yeah, semi-legacy sort of
light legacy.
Yeah, light legacy. But yeah, it should be cool.
Is that's next year that one's coming, or?
Yes, probably next year, yeah.
This year will probably be Puppy and Lunar Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year, yeah, definitely that one. And we have an engine building game also in the Luniverse that I've been developing. So those are probably going to be 2026.
Yeah. Got it. And then the Lunar Rush, the prototype you're going to have to show, are you actually people going to be able to play it too, or are you just showing it?
We'll have it to show, but if people after hours want to play it, we've been playing some side games when people beg.
Oh, amazing. Well, guys, congrats on this campaign. You guys have already gone way past your goal. I think just while we're talking here, a bunch of pledges came in as well. I'll put this in Canadian dollars. It's the only way I can see it. You're at almost $49,000 on a goal of $4,000. So blasted through your goal. 803 backers so far. Still 10 days to go. And as we know, there's always that huge hockey stick at the end. So I can't wait to see where this cat game goes. This is just this is fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
Us as well. It's exceeded our expectations. I'll say that.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, guys. Well, I want you all the best at Gen Con, and we'll get you back for episode 4, maybe this coming fall.
Yeah, thanks. Awesome.
All right, my friends. You take care. Cheers.
Bye.
This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.